One thing I've learned as a chess content creator is the fact that there are a lot of openings out there with really funny and stupid names. The problem is I can't always make a YouTube video out of them, because if you played that opening, you would probably lose every single game you played. Today is an exception, however. My good friend Alex Ostrovsky, an international master, sent me an opening called the Godley Gambit, spelled with the letter E in the middle. And that's what I'm going to show you today. First, we are going to go through a little bit of the theory with the black pieces, and then I'm going to play 3 of my subscribers who are on call right now in 10-minute games to kind of analyze the variations. So, before we even get started, computers don't like gambits. And if you analyze this with computer, it's not going to like it. It's going to call me an idiot. And I am being called an idiot every day by many people, so I don't also need your computer to call me that. That's number 1. Number 2, the point of these gambits is to throw your opponents off their game. That's the point. So, the gambit begins after the move e4. If you were looking for a d4 opening, it's time to click another video. e4 is the opening. Now, there are 2 ways to accomplish this gambit, but I'm going to show you the Caro-Kann way first, which is the way this was introduced to me. d4, d5, they take, and you play the move knight to f6, gambiting your other pawn. Okay, that's the position in the thumbnail. The problem with playing the Caro-Kann is that they can still play knight c3 and knight d2, and they can also play e5, the advanced Caro-Kann. So there are some benefits of playing it this way, with just playing d5 right away, and then if they take, and then you play c6, this is a slightly different gambit, which I might make a video on in the future because it has a really funny name, the Kloosterbouwer. But c6 in this position would lead to something like this, and then the difference is that white hasn't yet played the move d4. But that aside, okay, they play dc6, and, you know, if you need an advanced Caro-Kann weapon, there are a million options out there. If you know, they play e5, there's bishop f5, there's c5, but we're going to focus here on this weapon, dc6 and knight c6. So the pawn is under attack now with the queen and the knight. So many people here will play the move knight f3. This is by far the most natural move, as well as c3, which I will show you, and even bishop b5. Let's say knight f3, now you lash out with the move e5. So at this point, again, the best move according to my engine, and a deep dive in this position, is the move bishop to b5, developing another piece, saying, I don't care that you are attacking my center, I'm going here. This is what the engine recommended. Now black should play bishop g4. Again, you're down a pawn, you're sacrificing a pawn to get very quick development. Bishop g4, and then, for example, if they take the knight, you have take. They can take on e5, because if they don't, you'll just go here, which is a problem. And then the position you're going for, the key in all of these positions, is the long castle. You have check. And this is a big problem for white. If they block, you have this move knight back to d7. For a moment, a very brief moment, you're down 2 pawns, but the good thing is that you're about to win. You're about to win this back with the pin. You know, even if they go here, for example, take, knight e5. So now you're only down 1 pawn, and you have a very big initiative. f3 is hanging, for example. Bishop is coming out to c5. Oftentimes in these positions, what happens is white loses the right to castle, and you're down a pawn or 2, but you just develop all of your pieces as quickly as possible. You'll have the advantage here because white has never played this position. Ever. Unless everybody starts playing this opening after this video is made, which sometimes happens, but give it like an hour or 2, everybody will be gone. And you will have the experience because you've played this many times. So, bishop b5 is the best move, and I'm showing it to you first because that's what the computer says. Most people here will take. And the good thing about takes is that after this, knight g4, that's the point. Knight g4, hitting this and this, white is already walking through a field of traps. f2 is already very hard to guard. So, for instance, if bishop e3, I recommend take, and just bishop c5. So, again, for a very brief moment, you're down 2 pawns, but I can hardly consider these 2 pawns as anything. If white plays a move like king to e2, you've got bishop f5 hitting c2. You also have bishop g4 hitting the pawn on e5. So you will win one of these pawns back and then put your rooks after you castle on the 2 center lines. And you need to keep up this pressure on your opponent. You play bishop g4, you win the pawn back in the center, you bring your rooks, and white won't know what hit him. At the same time, if people just play a move like king to e1, which many people will play, now you play bishop c5, and it's not so simple. If this, it's a very different story. Now you just win the pawn immediately, and here white has no advantage, because white hasn't kept any of the pawns. Sorry, white is definitely not going to be able to keep this pawn, so ultimately white will not have kept any of the pawns. White can't castle because they've already moved their king. You castle, and you just keep attacking. That's what you keep doing. You keep creating aggressive lines once you get your king and bishop out, king out of the way and bishop out, and so on and so forth. I really like these lines because after e5, it's super tricky. You know, for instance, knight e5, you can even go here, here, and kind of go through the same thing. This is good for, this line in particular is kind of good for white, this line, and that's only if white plays the move bishop b5 check. So white has to find this check. So for instance, something like this, and then here white would be able to just give you one pawn back and hang on to their advantage. So one thing that I like after knight takes e5, there's also another line that goes queen takes d4. This is a little bit better. Queen takes d4, take, and now bishop d3 is the only move. And here what I recommend is just trading off this bishop, and you actually can go right back to d4 if they castle. It's kind of hard to guard this. If knight a3, you can even take. And, okay, I mean, you can castle or take c2, for example, and you're, for this moment, down one pawn, but they have a horrible structure, and, of course, if white makes it through this field of traps, okay, position is just balanced. I mean, that's how the game starts, right? You have no real problems, though. So queen takes d4 is a slightly better option, in my opinion, than going for it right away, but those are really the three options. There are also positions where white plays the move c3. Here you can just attack the knight and play bishop d6 and castle quickly. So if white never takes your pawn, push, bishop, castle. Easy. Okay? The same can be said if this pawn goes to c3 now, just e5. And this is already slightly problematic. If white plays knight f3, you have this, which is the same thing. And if white takes, this is actually terrible, because after take, knight to g4, black is just better here, since black never even white never even developed the piece. Black will get a very nice position here with like bishop c5, for example, bishop f5, long castle. It's a nightmare position for somebody who's playing here with white. I mean, Engine's trying to tell you it's, you know, whatever, 0.2, but you have to understand, practically speaking, it's very difficult. Or even if you're like 15, 16, 17, 1800, because this is not something you're ready to play when you play the move e4, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna go get my mainline position, and then all of a sudden you're in this nonsense. This mud fight with a Gothamchess YouTube subscriber. If you're not yet subscribed, by the way, what are you doing? Look down, scroll down, does it say subscribe? Click it, all right? 251,000 people before you already agreed with this concept at the time of recording. That's really it. I mean, there's moments they can play bishop to b5. If they play bishop b5 very early, queen d5 is good. I have put all of the moves of theory in the video description. Okay? Now, I'm going to clean off my glasses, and we are going to play a subscriber. I'm going to play 3 subs now, who are subbed on Twitch. I got them, actually, they might not even be on Twitch, but I contacted them in the Discord. Here we go. First game up will be against a guy who's got pasta in his name, and there's actually pasta right here to my right. I'm very upset that I can't eat it, because I'm currently recording. Okay, let's go. Game number 1. He plays e4. I'll play c6. And obviously they know what to do, so they're not gonna hit me with some crazy stuff. ed5. Now I don't know how much prep he did. I don't know how much prep he did, because now he's probably gonna think about it. I guess you guys can't see the clocks, huh? I usually don't do these kind of playthroughs. Okay, that'll be his clock. Doing this live on the fly. Should have thought about this earlier. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Look at that. That was quick. So now e5. We'll see if he finds the best move. I mean, he couldn't have possibly been inside of my house at the time of recording, so he doesn't know. Oh, interesting. That's actually a move we have yet to cover. Bishop to e3. So it's good to practice this out. So now I'm thinking to go either here or here. And this is actually good live action of how to deal with gambits you might be unfamiliar with. So let's go bishop to g4. Let's go bishop to g4. Okay, he's playing this extremely solidly. Looks like he doesn't want to make a mistake. We have take, and then pawn takes d4. But then his bishop can take the knight, so that's not very good. e4 is kind of an interesting move now. As well as this move knight d5, which I just can't... I can't escape mentally. That move just looks very good. So I'm going to do it. and I'm gonna think later. But it's good. Bishop e3 is a move to study. You know, because at the end of the day, theory is tough to come by in these gambits. So it's good that we're playing against somebody who, you know, came up with something that I didn't even show in the introduction. So that is very useful. It's a good example of how to, like, you know, think on your own. Okay, bishop g5 is a little suspicious. My first instinct is even to block, because then the bishop has to move again. My other instinct is to play bishop e7 and also queen to b6. Queen b6 attacks two things. Queen a5 check is interesting, but I don't believe in it right now. Somehow, I don't have evidence as to why I shouldn't, but really want to go f6. Somewhere Ben Feingold is throwing up. Can he play knight takes e5 if I do that? Knight e5, d5, bishop takes, queen takes, pawn takes. I don't think so. But I feel like I should instill good practice in all of you. Queen b6. Looks very good. Now, what do I do? Let's go f6. It was my first instinct, and I'm sitting here spending all this time thinking about it, so... Oh, there's no way that's good. That's blocking everything. So first of all, e4, and second of all, now take and knight d4. e4 looks quite nice. Knight h4 will come. My bishop is a little bit... Can take. I don't like that his pieces get so active if I do that. Something like that. h5, take. Also, don't want to take up too much of your airtime. I don't want to just sit here and talk about chess for 40 minutes when I don't have to. Feel kind of bad. He's doing quite well. He's playing very solidly. I think there's a better way to take advantage of bishop to e3. I can take. It's kind of helping him develop, though. Let's go bishop to e7. Castle next. Got a decent position here. In many ways, it's actually more useful to get a full game like this, you know what I mean? Rather than, like, win very quickly. Because this actually allows you to use your brain a little bit. And, like, think, okay, I can get both bishops off the board here if I take on f3 and then take on e3. So now he's got both bishops gone. And now we just have a middle game. So if I castle and okay, I'm going to castle. He has this fork. But then afterward, I can play rook b8. Also, he just didn't play the fork, which is good. I'll just hide my king now. Never need to worry. Okay, now I can start, you know, doing some stuff. A little f5 action. Maybe he plays knight c5. It's protected, but I can play f4. Oh, no, I can't because my pawn is hanging. So I'd have to probably play something like queen d5. Actually, knight c5, queen d5 looks mighty nice. Because it guards this and hits this and guards this and guards this. Queen d5 is a nice move. So now that's a blunder. That's a tactical blunder. Because the queen and the knight and the bishop. So if f4, I take and he goes down the exchange. It's kind of, you know, I mean, this wasn't a result of the opening. It was a result of us just playing the game of chess. But it's still good to visualize these kinds of things. The queen, the knight, and then this kind of diagonal attack. Hopefully this helps you, like, with the thought process. If you've made it this far in the video, by the way, I just want you to know that you're amazing. That's all. You can comment on this in the comment section, but yeah, you're amazing. You've made it 14 minutes in a video. That's... Yeah, you haven't clicked off, haven't gotten bored. If I take, that blocks my bishop, so of course I have to do this. He will sacrifice the rook here, I think. I mean, it's much better to do that. Now I can give a check, and that picks up the pawn. It's the same kind of concept that I showed you where he could have picked up my pawn, and then maybe I would have played rook b8. Now this is the phase of the game that's just cleanup. I'm going to pick up a pawn or two. It's really difficult to decide which one is better. I guess I'll take this one. I'll leave that one to perish later. Next thing is to trade his rook. That's the easiest way to win this endgame. You can also try to give him back rank mate. If he blocks with the queen, I take his knight. If he blocks with the knight, I take his queen. Now he resigns. Or he writes me a message, and he'll be like, "Hi, YouTube," and then he'll resign. He wrote me a message, XD. You can't see it, but I can. Anyway. Is he gonna... What's he doing? What's happening? Oh, he played another move. I thought he was just gonna sit out the clock. I was like, that's kind of disrespectful. Yeah, I'm gonna say GG. Bishop e3 was very interesting. I gotta take a look at Bishop e3. Okay, so I played the right move, and then, well, yeah, Machine wants me to take on f3. Knight e5 was not fantastic. So it looks like it wants me to take, and then what? And then Knight g4. Well, that could be interesting. That could be interesting. So then if something like this, yeah, the problem is in a lot of these lines you trade your queen. Bishop e3, huh? It's an annoying move because it's not bad, but you can't like, you can't like punish this move. But I kind of felt like what we did was pretty practical, and then he immediately made a mistake. Looks like f6 was the best move. So go us. We played a pretty decent game. Okay, we're gonna play subscriber number 2 now. Let's see how we do. He's 1200. So he knows what he's gotta do. He knows what he's gotta do. I think he knows what he's gotta do. He told me that he was in live chess. Okay, there he is. Beautiful, beautiful. Fantastic. You guys wasted 15 seconds of your time, but that's alright. Take it. Now, I wonder if what this guy's gonna play. The other guy played Knight f3, Bishop e3. So, just proving the point that Knight f3 is the most popular, like, most common, easiest move to play. This guy just gives me the pawn. Okay. I mean, I guess that'll... Whoa. Oh, man. He's really trying to bluff his way out. He's like, I totally meant to do that, Gotham. Okay, well, now, I mean... This is very good for us. I don't know, e5? I wasn't ready for someone to play d5, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, knight b4 now. Looks pretty good. Bishop d3, I just take it. And then there's bishop to f5, and I can long castle. So you kind of punish these opening mistakes very quickly here. You take... You create a pawn weakness, and now you play the queenless middle game, which would be really good if you're playing someone a couple 100 points higher, by the way. Because you nerf their most powerful piece. And that's to your benefit. So. He's deep in thought here. It's not gonna help. Should have been deep in thought on move 5. It's a good life lesson. I'm not sure why lower rated players do this, but you guys play really fast, and then when the position is already bad, you start thinking. Why didn't you think earlier? That's a good move. I like that move a lot. I like this move a lot. So he's using danger levels. Bishop b4, bishop d2, chop chop, long castle. That looks pretty good. I can also just long castle. He'll take. I'll play king b8 here, and bishop takes. Which one is better? Let's develop another piece. I don't know. I don't know. Bishop d2, long castle. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, of course, if he goes back, then I just take the free pawn. But this way, this long castle idea is always there. Also, short castle. I can also maybe play king d7. Maybe play king d7. But king d7, the king stays in the center. I don't... Okay. Just take the pawn. It's going to be tough for him to develop. He plays bishop g5. A lot of people here will either play bishop d2 or bishop g5. Play bishop d2 because it stops the pin. Play bishop g5 because the logic is like, I want to be more aggressive. So he plays bishop d2, right? Still hasn't castled queenside. Suppose he could do that. With that in mind, I guess I'll castle long. Now, he probably will too because he'll copy me. He's like, oh, he did it. I could do it too. Okay, 3 attacks the bishop. Very logical. I guess bishop a5. There's nothing too complicated here. This is pretty normal. We're only up 1 pawn. We're only up 1 pawn, but the good thing for us is this. Okay, well, once he starts bringing out all this, can I chop? Not the king. That would be illegal. There's also something hidden in this position. He might finally feel relief in castle, but I take and I open up this. So his king, this is a concept of continuity. His king used to guard his bishop, but you forget about that, and then you have none of this. So, and now you are down the bishop, and the bishop on b6 is looking mighty nice. And the way we would win this is we would just basically combine the power of the knight with the power of the rook and the bishop. He checks me, I just move my king. So now the knight is hanging and all this, and rook c8. No, rook c8 is possible to trade the rook. Knight g4, knight e4 to hit all this. What do I do here? Knight g, because I can't go here. Simplification is good. Trading the rook when you're up a bishop in the endgame obviously can't hurt. It's pretty good. Plays rook there. Double up or knight g4. Double up. Why not? Why not? Why not? Rook f2 is coming. Here's something very cool for you. Rook e5, rook f2, bishop f2, king h1, bishop g3, hg3, rook c1. He can't block. He'll go here. I'll check. He'll go here, and I'll take his rook. What do you guys think? You guys think that's going to happen? You guys can't talk because I'm not streaming right now. I'm talking to myself on a camera. But in the comments... Okay, none of that happened. That's okay. Take, and by the way, if he takes back, which I think he will, this is check, and it's mate. Rook can't block. Very common pattern. You pin the rook, back rank is open. He says GG. All right, now of course he just blundered d5, so he told me he got nervous. It's all right. He'll watch this later. Last one. Here we go. 1250. c6 d5 on the way. c6 d5 on the way. You can also do it with the d5 move order, but like I said, I'm going to play it this way. Let's hope he takes. I don't know why he's deep in thought here. I think these guys are all a little bit nervous. Of course, if they play c4, you take with the pawn, right? Like, hope you guys understand that. You don't take, right? With the knight. So, last guy played knight f3. This last guy played d5. Maybe he'll go c3. We'll see. Knight f3. Okay, e5. I don't think we're going to get another bishop e3. I highly doubt that happens. Because that would be really rare. So, I mean, bishop e3, maybe c3, maybe de5, maybe knight e5. Maybe people won't take on e5 because they don't like the fact that they lose the right to castle. Like, a lot of people are really freaked out by that. Losing the right to castle. I don't know why, but it's, like, totally a thing. Especially at the cost of, like, 2 pawns up. That is crazy. 2 games. Wow. Okay, well, we know that... Oh, wait. Well, the engine wanted something like this, right? And then it wanted knight g4. Now, let's go bishop g4. Bishop g4 looks far more natural. I think another guy's going to play bishop e2. That is so funny. Wow, well, there you go. That's why you guys should watch to this point. Looks like bishop e3 is the more human option. Well, I don't know. Maybe this guy's not going to play bishop e2. But if listen, you got to... At this point... Ooh. Ooh. Queen d5? What about e4? Wait, did he just hang a piece? Did he just hang a piece with e4? That's why you gotta go bishop e2, I think. He has to go here now. But then I can take, and even take on g2. So weird stuff here. This is what you need in the opening, you know? You need an opening to get you to a point where you can play for the win, right? And that's what we're getting. That's what we're getting so far. 3 times against an average rating of like 1200. Pretty godly. Except a little bit slow. Do I eat pasta? What do? Do I drink my water? I'm gonna drink my water. Hey, if you've made it this far in the video, and it's just us, you want to tell me like what's going on in your life? What are you doing? A lot of people working, a lot of people in school, a lot of people like doing like medical exams, law exams. What are you doing? I'm curious to read. Please don't go here and hang another piece. If he plays knight takes f3, he blunders queen a5 check. But then we win in 9 moves, and that's an impressive way to end a YouTube video, right? So he, oh no. All right, well, I mean, what to say? The Godley Gambit is godly. You know, like, what can I say? It's a godly opening. Super duper godly. You're just up 2 pieces in 9 moves. GG. Of course, he's still dealing with the fact that this has happened, but I guess the rest of the game, I'll show you just how to convert a position like this, because that's actually one thing that people do miss, is converting a totally winning position after the opening. The opening can get you there, but if you're not converting properly or not playing the right technique to take it all the way to the end, what are you doing, right? So, very important skill to have. You know what else is important? Hydration. Stay hydrated. This is so weird. Normally when I stream, there's music playing and there's chat. At this point, there's neither. I'm just sitting here talking to my camera, waiting for my opponent to move. It's okay. It's okay. It's a good exercise in killing dead air. So he wants to play c4. Or actually, maybe he just didn't want to lose his pawn. The other good thing is I'm cutting his king, so he can't castle. And I can, and when I do, it's going to be very bad for him. Now I'll check him. He's attacking my queen, but using the concept of danger levels. I don't need to move my queen if I can attack something worth more, which in this case would just be a king. What this will do is it either forces his king to make a move, yeah, or forces him to trade another piece with me, which is good. And if he takes with the queen, I'll trade the queen. This is going to be a mass simplification here. Yeah, queen b4. And the more pieces we trade, the easier this endgame will become, because he has 2 rooks and pawns, and we have 2 rooks, pawns, and we will have a knight and a bishop. Or 2 knights, actually. I guess 2 knights. We'll have 2 knights, especially if I go here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I almost pre-moved that. Oh my god. The scariest moment of any chess player's life. Queen takes queen. Almost. Almost, but not quite. Take. And long castle. Okay, easy, 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 easy. This is under fire. He pushes, I go here. F4, I can move my knight back and take the pawn. I can also bring my rook, to the center file. And I predict that what's going to happen is rook e1, rook e8, rook there, and then I fork. And then maybe here, okay, or the other thing. Yep. Easy. Knight f3. Some of you might be thinking knight f3 because it attacks the rook, but I like the knight here because they're safe. They're just safe. They're putting a little bit of pressure on the pawns, and we don't need to do anything fancy or extravagant. Let's bring the second rook. Yeah, I respect his decision to play on, you know? It allows me to actually be a bit more instructive in the endgame. Take this pawn. And plus at 1200, I really feel like, I mean, unless you really want to, don't resign. There's no need. Practice checkmating and all this good stuff. I could have taken, by the way, it was a free pawn, but I didn't want to double my pawns. That's all. Taking is completely fine. But I like my structure. And I'll win that pawn later. He wants something like this. Knight to the... Let's trade the rook. Easy, you know? Like I said, just get all his pieces off the board. It's gonna be a lot easier to win. It's gonna be a lot easier to win a game of chess. The guy's got no pieces left. Alright, so... Take. Also, rook f2 is cool, because after it takes, I have this. Can also give him this now. Let's just take this guy. He wants my pawn. He can't have it. You gotta be wary of what they want as well, even if they only have one piece remaining. If he goes to the open file, I will offer him a trade of the rook, as I said. And then we will go... Okay, open file. I'm very happy with the rook trade, so... This doesn't win anything, although it does look good, because I just defend. But he could have kind of x-rayed me there. And that's a knight fork. Always look for checks. Actually, there were two knight forks there. Kind of funny. Knight e2 and knight e4. Well, that didn't go very well. It's actually funny that both games started like this, but bishop g4 is a strong move. Now you know kind of what to do. You also have the theory in the beginning. And there you go. Have fun playing the Godley Gambit.